On this episode of the Innovative Schools podcast, we're sitting down with Steve Bollar to talk about climate and culture, define what those things mean, and give you guys 5 ideas on how to increase and maintain climate and culture. Come on, let's learn together. Hey everybody, welcome to this episode of the Innovative Schools podcast. Jordan here today. So we got someone here on this episode who I really look up to. That's going to be a joke you'll get later. That I think is an amazing person. We've done AccuEds with them. He's been at our Innovative School Summits. And it's someone who really gets this whole big idea of climate and culture. So we're going to get into a conversation with Steve Bollar. Steve, welcome to the podcast, buddy.
Hey, man. Thanks so much. This is exciting. I have a great history with you guys, and to have the opportunity to be with you now, it just it's what it needs to be. I love it.
Yeah, it's awesome. I did hear real quick before we get into it, you're really close to someone else we had on the podcast, Kara and Megan. We had on in season 1. I heard, though, that there was a little jealousy that they got to be on the podcast first before you.
You know what? Yes, they are very, very happy that they got to be on the podcast before me. They remind me quite a bit about that.
As they should.
Although, I will say this. Their very first podcast that they've ever been on was my podcast. So, yes, have a good time. Enjoy being on the AccuEd podcast first. But I was the one that brought you into the fold. So there you go.
There we go. That's awesome. And you do have your own podcast. What's that podcast about?
It's all about school culture and climate. It's actually called the School Culture and Climate Show. And me and Megan are on that together. I brought her in, that way we have some banter. She gives the teacher perspective. I give the administrative perspective of culture and climate. And we not only just share ideas and thoughts, we do a little teaching to help people understand how to make their environments in their schools so much better.
That's wonderful. This was not planned to promote, but we just love helping teachers know about more resources. And so I felt that was kind of natural to just kind of talk about that for a minute. But today, our podcast is going to be on climate and culture, and we're talking about climate and culture. To start this whole conversation about climate and culture, I think it's important for us to start at the definitions of climate and culture. I feel like there's a lot of kind of things that are said and go around, but for this conversation, how do you define climate and culture?
All right. Hey, first of all, that's the best way to start this, because a lot of times in schools and organizations and companies and everything, they blend climate and culture together. Oh, we have to improve the climate and culture. Oh, we love our climate and culture. They are two different things. They help and they work with each other. They feed each other. But you need to understand what each one of those are. So let's start with climate. Climate, all right? So climate is the emotional state people feel when they enter a space. The emotional state people feel when they enter a space. Okay. So when you go into a space, you go somewhere, you feel something. We're humans. We're emotional creatures. That's why outside, the weather, they call it climate. When you're outside, you physically feel the climate, and you have an emotional reaction to that.
Yeah.
Same thing in schools. Yeah.
The wind, or if it's raining, or
exactly. You
hot,
literally
cold,
feel it. You feel that.
things.
And so therefore, us being emotional creatures, we react to that. Same thing when we talk about in your classroom, in your building, in your district, in your organizations, all right? You walk into a building, and I'm sure people have walked into school buildings. The second you walk in, you can feel something about that building. It's negative, it's positive, it's whatever it might be. You can walk into one classroom, kids are quiet, but it feels negative. You go to right next door, you walk in, kids are quiet, but it feels happy. That's climate. And climate fluctuates. It changes, right? It changes week to week, month to month, sometimes minute to minute. Just like if you're outside. You're outside.
Just like real weather. It's sunny one minute and huge storm the next.
Yes, perfect example. You're out about somewhere. It's a beautiful sunny day. A cloud comes over and covers up the sun just for a moment. Oh, what's going on, right? It's the emotional state people feel when they're in a space. Yeah. Same thing there. Okay, so that's climate. So let's talk about culture, all right? Culture, to me, is nothing more than a fancy word for traditions. That's what culture really is. Culture is a culmination of things that are done, actions that happen again and again and again and again. All right? Perfect example. Let's say you go on a trip. You're going on a trip, and we're going to go to another country. You get excited. Oh, I can't wait to be immersed in the culture of that country. basically you're getting immersed into the things that they do over and over and over and over again, right? It's the things that they've gravitated to and they do again and again. Same thing again in a classroom, in a building, in a district, in an organization. What are the things that you do over and over and over and over again? And a lot of those things that are happening consistently over and over and again, they highlight what it is that you respect and value. We'll talk a little bit later more about the importance of identifying what you respect and value.
Sure.
So these things that you do over and over and over again create the culture. And then because of those actions that are done over and over and over again, you have an emotional reaction to those things that creates the climate, the feelings that you have. So those are the two differences between climate and culture.
Okay, so climate being the things that you feel, culture, you're saying is kind of the traditions and the things that
you do. Yes.
So going into just climate for a minute, I think we can all like visualize, or we can, we've had this experience like you're saying of like going into a classroom or going into a school and you can kind of feel that climate right off the bat. Yeah. What are things that you think, just not necessarily in what people are saying or doing, or, well, maybe, I don't know, what are the things that you notice the most going into schools? Because you go around speaking at different schools and trying to help people with their climate and culture. When you walk into a school, what are the things that you noticed first that indicate to you what the climate of that school is?
Yeah, absolutely.
Or that classroom?
Yeah, absolutely. So, again, I go in and out of a lot of different schools, all right? Schools have security, all right? You got to have security. When you ring that bell and you're trying to get into the school, somebody comes onto the microphone and they say something. Hello? Yes? Can I help you? Or, yeah? Hello? Can I help you? All right? You just got two different feelings based off of what I said.
Same words, different meanings.
Same words, different meaning. And I know the secretary or the office clerk or the security or whoever's at the beginning, that sets the tone of what it is. Then you walk into the main building, all right? You walk into the main building, you see the big atrium or the foyer or the hallway. Are there pictures of kids? Is it bright and happy? Now, granted, some buildings are built how they're built. Maybe it's dark. Yeah. But what are you doing in there to set? That's the environment, all right? And it goes to culture, because what is it that you're routinely doing? The environment, how you design it, how you look at that space is part of culture, because it's continually happening over and over again. When you go into the main office, how are they greeting you? What is it like? Now, I get it. Some things aren't always wonderful and great and personal, but that's another piece. You can feel that. The main office usually is the hub of the culture throughout the school. And same thing if you go into a classroom. How are you greeted? How are you coming in? What is the feelings in the hallways? Because there's a lot of microcultures in a school that lead to that climate.
Yeah. My daughter's school, and specifically, it's a newer school. They just rebuilt it. But we had parent-teacher conferences a couple weeks ago, and it kind of just blows my mind between my schooling and my kids' schooling how different things are. They have fluorescent lights in the ceiling, but I don't think any classroom has them on. I think every class has their own kind of lighting. There's stuff all over the walls. I remember my elementary school, she's in 3rd grade. My elementary school felt, I loved my elementary school. It felt a little like a prison.
I was waiting for that word. So many people say that.
The cinder block walls, the razor wire in the door windows. I think my teachers did the best that they could. But it is so different. I'm very thankful for that. I'm very thankful that we get to, when I walk into that classroom for my daughter, and it's happened every year we've been there, I can tell that those teachers care about my daughter. I can tell that they care about every kid in that classroom. They want them to learn. It's not just, the motivational posters of a cat hanging on the rope, like hanging there. But it's things
showcasing the kids' work. It's bright colors. It is having the kids' names up on the wall for different reasons. And it absolutely. I always say schools got a great deal on gray and beige paint.
Yes.
And I know. And it's like they just splather it everywhere. And then the teachers are trying to do the best that they can. And here's the sad thing. The higher up in the grades you get, the less you see this.
Yeah.
And you get this notion in some high schools where it's like, well, hey, I'm not here to to decorate a room. I'm here to teach the kids. Well, that's part of it. That's part of it. So you're hoping for these things. You want these things to happen, but the environment, that's a big piece of it as well. That environment is a big piece of it as well.
Okay, so Steve, you're saying that climate, when they walk into school, we talked about kind of how you know what the climate is when you first walk into a school. What about culture? How do you know what the culture of that school is within your first few steps in a school?
You have to go in and start looking at how people are behaving, looking at how people move. For example, let's say you go into a school and the bell has rung, students are starting to move between classes, all right? Whether it's a high school or an elementary school, middle school, whatever it is. You can see some of that culture just by the movement in the hallway. How do students regularly move through the hallway, right? What are they doing? Are they pushing and shoving? Are they moving nicely? Are there teachers out there, all right? Are there staff out there? And even if they're out there, are they interacting with students or not? You can see the culture. Those are the routines that happen consistently, because things that happen consistently in routine, people slide into those. They do them on a regular basis. So you can watch the culture. Go to a football game. Watch how they run a good game. If you're coming into a school and you're coming in to have a meeting, maybe you're a parent, you want to go to an IEP meeting, or you're coming in from another building to a meeting, see how they run their meetings. That's culture. How people interact with each other, right? How do they talk to each other? Do they talk to each other nicely? Do they talk to each other rude? So there's one thing with how they're calling you when you're coming into the building. You can feel the climate right away. But let's say you're in the office, you're waiting by the main desk. A couple of students come in. How are they addressing those students who are coming into the main office? All right. That's culture. That's the routines that are happening, because routines are basically traditions. So that's how you can kind of see and feel. You go into a classroom. What is the processes and the procedures that support what you respect and value? That's how you can find out the culture.
Got it. Yeah. So just observing, that's more of the relation side, I would say, is how they're interacting with each other, student to teacher, teacher to student, student to administrator to teacher, all those different
those interactions. Yeah. How do they run? And that will tell you the continual culture that is being created in that school.
Sure. This just makes me think of, I think of as we work on the podcast or whatever projects we're working on. Sometimes it's hard for me to see what the climate and culture is because I'm in it, right? I want to lead it. I want to make changes. I want to, make sure that it's a healthy, happy, productive place. What do you think is needed, or like how does an administrator or even a classroom teacher, how do they get out of seeing what they always see, I guess, and how do they step out so that they can see from an outsider's perspective? Because I think sometimes we get comfortable and we think the culture is fine because it's known. It may not be the best culture, it may not be the best climate, but it's known, and so we get comfortable with it. How do educators, how do teachers, how do leaders in the school, how do they step out of that to be able to observe better what the climate and culture is? Because I think to make changes, you have to kind of know where you are to start with.
Yeah, so you have to know the beginning spot.
That's a very long way to ask my question, but I hope you understand what I'm trying to get at.
I get exactly where you are, because people are, in general, we're creatures of habit, right? We like a routine. We like things to be consistent.
Creatures of comfort and
habit. Comfort and habit. We are. Even if that comfort and habit is negative. And in schools, a lot of times, it's almost expected to be not the greatest. So that's part of the issue, is that in so many different schools, they're just like, well, this is just the way that it is. You got to slide on into this, So there's a problem right there. So in order to step out and to see it, you have to start examining how you are feeling, right? Are you getting comfortable with feeling not seen? Are you comfortable with negativity all around you? Are you comfortable with rudeness? Because every now and then you see on TV, or there's a documentary, or you read something, or you find out about some school somewhere that's an amazing environment and kids are flourishing. And some people say, well, that's not here. No. It's possible. It is absolutely 100% possible anywhere and everywhere. So as far as going to your question of how do you step back and look at that, you have to look at the emotions of the people that are around you and your own emotions. And you're identifying what it is that those emotions that are not good, what can we do to prevent those emotions from being not good? This goes back to clearly identifying what everyone collectively respects and values. Because values, the things that you value, that is the anchor to leading you to to moving in certain behaviors and actions. All right. Values are a set of beliefs, values, and actions that you are using to guide your decisions. So let's say that let's start it at the classroom level. All right, just a class. We're not even talking building wide. All right, just your own individual classroom, climate and culture. As the leader in that classroom, which is teacher is the leader in that classroom, you need to identify what is it that I, as the leader, respect and value in a classroom. What do I respect and value? And think that through. What 1, 2, 3 words that you respect and value? I respect and value teamwork. I respect and value accountability. I respect and value integrity. Okay, you being the leader, you do that. So let's say you have a middle school or high school group. You have 3 words that you've identified. Then you go to the kids, hey, give me one more word of that we all respect and value. That way you get buy-in. Now, what you're going to do is you're going to find as many opportunities to showcase what it is that you respect and value in that classroom. Again and again and again and again. Challenge the students to showcase it. You showcase it. Point it out as often as you can. Recognize the kids when they do it. And the more that you do that over and over and over again, and the kids realize this is the new norm, that turns into a tradition, and that turns into the culture, and then it starts improving that environment.
Yeah. That sounds a lot like a book I read called Know Your Why. I don't remember the author right now, but he poses this question of what are you known for? And what do you want to be known for? And so bringing it down to what you're saying of what you respect and value and finding the gap between that of like, this is what I want to be known for. I want to be known for teaching kids. What were the things that you said? You kind of threw stuff out there. Sorry, I don't remember exactly.
Teamwork, integrity, accountability, or whatever. Yeah.
I want my classroom to be known for those things. And then asking, are they known for those things?
Right.
And then not to be mean to yourself, but saying, okay, there is a gap and I need to fix that. Or maybe there's not a gap. But evaluating where you are on, those things. I think that's a great thing for any of us to be doing, whether you're an administrator, it's like, hey, this is what I want my school to be known for. If you're a classroom, this is what I want my classroom, this is what I want my students to be known for.
Yes.
And working towards those goals.
It takes a little bit of reflection. They have to take the time to reflect. Right. A lot of times we go on autopilot and we're just going. We give the instruction, we're doing it. You got to take time to reflect on those things and then do some implementation. Yeah. It's
like sports. I bring so many things back to sports, but in football, the NFL sends out the all 22. It's the shot of all 22 players on the field. Coaches and players sit down and they look at that and say, hey, you ran the wrong way this way. This person did that here. Here's where we need to improve. We have to do that same thing in our own lives, specifically around climate and culture, is being able to step back and look at the coach cam, the all 22, and say, hey, we failed here. And this is how we're going to make it better. It's not like a, hey, you failed and you're terrible. It's, hey, we failed.
This is what we need to learn. Yep.
This is what we need to learn. Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly.
Speaking of those kind of failures, so to speak, or those missteps, maybe, let's reframe it into areas of growth, right? I hear teachers, I've experienced this too. Let's put this in kind of a hypothetical of the beginning of the school year. You've come off your summer break. You're relaxed. You got all your plans. You have everything. You have all your posters up on the wall. And you have all the things that you're going to be teaching them. You know your whys and all that different stuff. And here we are, about middle of the year when this podcast is coming out. And maybe some of that culture has slipped a little bit. Maybe some of that, the weather's gotten a little worse because now we're actually in it. We're dealing with real students or teachers and different things. I just want to talk about this kind of transition period of going into winter break.
Yeah.
Maybe as the year, you said it earlier, I think that as the school year goes on, the climate changes, different things are happening. Maybe it gets a little worse. People start to get tired. What are ways that educators can kind of combat that, the winter drearies, I guess, if I can say it that way, as the summer or as the high of the new school year starts to fade and going into kind of the heart of the school year.
Yeah, and that's the thing. We're jazzed up at the beginning of the school year, right? Jazzed up, ready to rock and roll.
Excited,
we're implementing
ready to go.
We're rolling. Then the school year continues on.
This year's going to be different.
This year's going to be different, right? Right. Let's go back to sports. It's like a Cowboys fan. Oh, this is going to be year. We them boys. I'm an Eagles fan, so I can't go there. I got to do it.
I'm Bill, so we can pick on the Cowboys all day long.
There we go. All right. They always think that, but overall, time goes on, and then things start to shift. Here's the thing about culture. All right. The way that culture is created is the power is in the repetition of doing it again and again and again and again and again and again. And if it starts to wean, then it's not the culture. The culture is that it doesn't stay. That is the culture. The culture becomes that we start something and then it fades off. One of the things I teach, I do a lot of direct instruction or direct coaching for school administrators. And when I talk to them about leadership, and this is the same thing in the classroom, if you're in a classroom with it, is maximize and utilize that calendar like a champ. Your calendar, all right? In your calendar, literally write down on a date. Today we're going to talk about teamwork. Today we're going to focus on accountability. Today we're going to focus on integrity. You have to purposefully put it down to remind yourself to refocus back on these things. Yes, all of those things are important for what you respect and value, but you have to purposely do that, especially now, all right? Kids are coming in, and I know you have a certain amount of time, you have your curriculum to get through, but the amount of time that you can spend 2-3 minutes focusing on accountability, integrity, teamwork, best effort, efficiency, effect, whatever your words are, grit, all right? Taking a second to hit that in the beginning, and then wrapping up at the end of class saying, hey, how did we do on this on a scale? Recognizing students when they're doing it, all right? Get back on a routine of that, and that's going to really do something for you. What I tell administrators sometimes is, let's say that you have 4 words for your whole school that you say you respect and value. 1 week, you make the morning announcements, you challenge everybody this week. 2nd week, you pick the next word. 3rd week, you pick the next word. 4th week, you pick the next word. Start it over the next month. Do it again. Next month, do it again. Next month, do the 4 again. And again, it starts to create a routine. It starts to create a habit. Yeah. And routines are just traditions, and traditions is culture. So when you're going into December, that's the time that needs to happen. Now, when you get through the winter break, because now they all leave, right?
Yeah.
You just did all this work. They're all gone. When you come back, that's when you do your reset, all right? You got to do, you can't just say, okay, let's get back into it. Let's go. No. You need to take the time and reset everybody. One of the things I did as a building administrator is I would do a State of the Union address. State of the Union address when the kids got back. Now, my school, the one school I was at, we were the Hounds. That was our mascot, the dogs. We called ourselves the Hounds. So I would call it the State of the Hound address. And I would literally bring all of the kids into the all-purpose room or in the gymnasium or in the auditorium, and we would go over what the expectations are. I would share data with them on discipline. I would share data with them on how they're doing at their level, the students' level. I would talk about some fun things. I would find a cute little or an inspirational video on YouTube and show that to them. It would last 20 minutes, right? It's a reset. Then I would give talking points to my teachers. When you go back to class, these are the talking points that we want to hit so to reset everyone to get back into the routine. That's what needs to happen.
Because that winter break can be brutal getting back into routine.
Oh, yeah.
So just kind of leaning into that, being like, hey, we know you you got all this stuff for Christmas. You know,
Christmas, Hanukkah, whatever you got. Yep.
True. Yeah, any of those things.
But you've been away.
You're right. And so we're getting back into those routine. I think that's a great tip of just, working those routines in your favor, setting calendar reminders and things like that. We are actually Steve, we're going to take just a short break. And when we come back, we're going to talk about more practical things. Yeah. So we've kind of defined climate culture. We've kind of talked about the kind of different scenarios that we find ourselves in, but we've reserved this whole second half of the podcast for just, as your book is, ideas.
There you go.
So everyone hang out for a minute, and we'll see you at the end of the break.
Let me know if this sounds familiar. You just finished listening to an episode of the Innovative Schools podcast, and you want to hear more from that guest or speaker. Well, you can. At the Innovative Schools Summit, The Innovative Schools Summit is an event that brings internationally recognized thought leaders, educational consultants, teachers, and administrators from all over to come and show you what they've learned. We feature speakers like Michelle Borba, Michael Bonner, Steve Spangler, Gary Brooks, Kim Bearden, and many, many more. You're not going to want to miss this. We hold these summits in the big cities like New York, Las Vegas, Nashville, Orlando, and San Antonio, so there's always one close by. If you want more information, go to theinnovativeschoolsummit.com and check it out. We hope to see you there. Learn from the best in education on Accuit.com. Accuit.com is our subscription-based service that we offer for educators just like you. We have over 40 masterclass-style courses that gives you more than 80 hours of training. These courses cover a multitude of subjects like leadership in your school, to climate and culture, to even just classroom management, and so much more. And this training is from the real experts like Bruda Kefele, Michelle Borba, John Almarode, and even Michael Bonner. We release a new course every month, and you'll be able to start applying these strategies as soon as your next day in the classroom. Go to Accuit.com to get started. If you use promo code PODCAST at checkout, you get 10% off your first 6 months. Visit Accuit.com and start learning from the pros today.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Innovative Schools podcast. We have Steve Bollar with us. I made a joke earlier that I didn't explain when I said I really look up to him. That's because for our audio friends, if you've never met Steve, he's 6'7". He was definitely a professional basketball player. He loves talking about how tall he is, and
right. I know. Well, I was not a professional ball player. Everybody
he was not. He was not. Everyone thinks that.
6'7" black man, bald head. Everybody thinks you're a ball player, and I know people don't realize this. Yes, I'm 6'7", and there's a whole thing with middle school kids and kids 6'7". That's me. I literally I do assemblies at schools as well, and I open it up. I know what you're thinking. I'm 6'7", and the kids are waving their hands. 6'7". It's crazy. It's like
all the teachers turned off this podcast immediately as soon as you said those two numbers. They're all gone. Now it's just you and me. No one else is listening. But you should just change it up. You should start fibbing a little bit and be like, I'm 6. And all the kids are like, yeah. And you're like,
6.5. Yeah.
And a half. Like just totally frozen. Anyway, I teased right before we went into the break about ideas, which is the name of your book. So small plug there. But I mean, you have so many ideas on climate and culture. And to recap, climate is what you feel, and culture is kind of what you do in your traditions.
Yes.
And so while we kind of pair those two things together, they are kind of distinct. But for the sake of this, we kind of still, right? We still kind of lump these together.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they definitely feed off each other. They connect with each other. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I did no prep for what ideas you have. So you can go wild and crazy.
Okay.
But I just wanted to give our listeners just a smattering of ideas and for us to just kind of like talk about them. I'll ask some questions or whatever, but I'm kind of handing it over to you, Steve.
Sounds
kind of like this. So first idea for school climate and culture.
All right. Go. So first idea for climate and culture is something I call greeter. Now, we talked a little bit before about when you come to the school and you can tell the climate right away. You can see how people interact with each other. So one of the things that I did as a school administrator is when teachers have their morning arrival, right? They have bus duty or hallway duty or whatever like that. You're assigned to hallway 2, door B or whatever. So we simply changed the name to greeter. You are now greeter at hallway 2, door B. You're a greeter at the front. We just changed the name. By changing the name, it changes the outcome and the expectations of that position. Your job now is to greet kids when they come into the school. Hey, how you doing? Fist bump, high five, setting that tone, setting that environment, as opposed to, all right, you got hallway duty on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Just go there and make sure the kids don't bump into each other. It's just, come on. Just changing that name. Very similarly, I used to have a job at the Disney store, right? And one of the jobs that they had was greeter. Your job is literally to stand in the front of the store and greet people when they come in. Same thing. It just sets the tone. It sets the environment for what it is that you want to see in your school.
Yeah, I can definitely see that being a difference. I walked up to a friend the other day and I said, I was like, hey, good morning. And she turns, she goes, good morning. And I was like, whoa, that kind of day? Like that's it. And she goes, I'm sorry. I was looking at something else and it affected my whole mood. But just changing the way that those words are said. We kind of said this earlier too, of just like same words, different meanings. So changing from what, like hall duty, or
anything
your to
spot,
just
your
you're
position.
the greeter.
You're the greeter. You're a greeter in A hallway. You're a greeter in B hallway. You're a greeter in D hallway. And we have greeters out by the buses instead of bus duty, which you do. You have bus duty. You're getting the kids off. You're a greeter at the buses, front set of buses. You're a greeter at the middle set of buses. You're a greeter at that. And you can even do it at the end of the day. You're a greeter, right?
Yeah.
You're greeting. Goodbye. Have a good day. Bye bye. Come on, be a little nice. Imagine that. And even if you had a bad day, smile a little. It's amazing what fake it. Stretch a smile out, right? Why you want to start a day in a bad mood? So that's one of the ideas. So
changing the name to greeter, and I'm sure I know our listeners are very smart. I'm sure they can even take that idea and say, hey, maybe there's some other positions or jobs that we can tweak the name of. Just to kind of change that climate and culture.
That's the one thing that I love about my book and about me doing my presentation on ideas and sharing ideas. Even though I have one idea, that idea might not be it, but it sparks new ideas. Like, well, wait a second, if I just switch it, twist it, did that. That's the great thing about ideas. It gets the idea engine running in your brain, and you can kind of get some other things going. Yeah.
That's awesome. All right. Idea number 2.
Idea number 2. I call this one "Show My Name." Show my name. All right.
Okay.
So back when I was a school administrator, I was an administrator of a school building. It was an upper elementary school, 5th and 6th grade only. We only had 2 grades, the whole building. That was it. We had 1,200 kids, 2 grades. Big, nice building. That's Jersey style. We're in Jersey. That's the way we do it.
Yeah.
So what we had is we had a poster maker in the library. Now, this was an old-fashioned poster maker, all right? It printed out one color on flimsy paper, but it was a poster maker nonetheless. So what we decided to do is at the end of each marking period, we simply took all the names of the kids who got straight A's and all the kids who got A's and B's, and we put them on a big sheet of paper and we stuck it onto the wall. We did it in the 5th grade hallway. We did it in the 6th grade hallway. That's it. The kids went nuts. They went absolutely bonkers. They just wanted to see their name on the wall to showcase what it is that they've achieved. And the kids are late going to bus or everything.
This is for any kind of achievement kind of thing.
Any kind of achievement. How often we need to showcase. Kids want to see their name. Just put it up on the wall, y'all. It's one of the easiest things that you can do. Put it up on a wall. Put it somewhere. There was a school that I shared this idea with. It's in New Orleans. I'm trying to think of the name of the school. I can't think of it off the top of my head. It was a middle school. And they say, well, we have a poster maker. We could do that. Good. So they did it. They got the names of the kids who got straight A's and A's and B's. They put it up. They had this great big huge presentation wall, whatever. So they put it up in there. They got back to me and they said, some of the toughest kids went by and looked at it and say, wait a second, I want my name up there. That's not right. Well, I just put it. Now they have some of these kids who weren't succeeding at all actually giving an effort just to see their name up there. You didn't spend any money. You didn't do anything other than just print a name and put it on a wall. That's the simplest of things that you can do.
That I've heard you talk about this before, and my brain still can't comprehend it fully, but I also understand it. Like if I walked past a wall and I was like, oh, what's everyone's name doing up there? Why isn't my name? Oh, I want to get my name up there. Like I guess it's what social media is built off a little bit. Like just seeing
being seen,
being
seen, being noticed, being recognized. One of and you can do this. You can look onto Google, you can AI it, whatever you want to do, and ask the question, what is the number one reason why people give up on jobs, the number one reason again and again and again, there's reports and effort and things everywhere, is because they don't feel like they're recognized for the things that they do. That's what it is. It's not money. It's not status. They just want recognition. That's the basics of everything. People want to be seen. And this is just another way that you can help students and staff be seen.
Yeah. Yeah. Staff.
That's all it is. Staff
adults
as well.
We like to be seen too.
Exactly. They want to be seen as well.
So we have change the name, basically. Greeter was our example. Change the name.
Right.
What did you call that second one? What was the name of it specifically?
Show my name. Just show my name. Show my name.
But
show my name.
Boiling down to be seen, recognize things.
Yes.
What do you got for number 3?
Okay, number 3 is going to be called the Comeback Kid. Comeback Kid. All right. So with Comeback Kid, now you can call it whatever you want. I was with a group of my teachers and staff, and we know that we recognize students who got straight A's, and then also students who got A's and B's. But my teachers were like, we have some students, no matter how hard they work, they're not going to get straight A's. They're not going to get A's and B's. They're just not. What can we do to recognize them? So we came up with a thing called the comeback kid. The comeback kid is any student who moves up one grade level in any subject. Congratulations, you're a comeback kid. So basically, you can go from a D to a C. Congratulations, comeback kid. You can go from an F to a D. Congratulations, comeback kid. You can go from a B to an A. Congratulations, comeback kid. It's all about growth. That's the big thing in education. It's not about that finite grade, all right? Even though we were recognizing the finite grade of A's and B's, yes. But we want to see growth. We want to see how far they've grown, how much they've improved. We want to see that happening. So we need to find ways to recognize that, all right? You can do this for your grades. You could do it with your in-house testing. You could do it for a multitude of things. When they show the growth, that's when you get additional recognition. That's what we're trying to do. I know a lot of high schools, they do it if you move up your GPA, 0.2 or 0.5 or 1 point, or, because as you move up in the grade level, it's from freshman to senior, it's harder to move up the GPA even more. Right. But they're even using those points to move up some, and they give recognition there. And there's a variety of things you can do. Again, put their name up on a wall. You can give a little token to them, give them some school swag or something to showcase that effort.
Yeah, I think that's great. I think just because you're right, there's some kids that they work really, really hard, and they're going to improve, or it's at the beginning steps of them putting in effort, and you want to acknowledge that effort. It's like, hey, you didn't make it to an A, but you've moved up. Like, you are growing. I want you to see how well you're doing because you are growing, and we're going to keep working on you. So that's great. Right. So
that's it.
Come back, kid.
That's it.
Number 3.
Number 3, comeback kid. I love it. That's it.
All right. Number 4.
All right.
Also, real quick, producers, can you put in like a really neat sounding, like the ESPN top 10, like number 4? Like whenever we Yes. Sorry. All right. Idea number 4. What do we got?
Okay. Number 4 is a community connection. Community connection. All right. Okay. So one of the things we want to do as schools, we always want to connect with the community in some way. We always say that we want to do this, but we really don't know what to do. So one of the things that I did at one of my schools is I went out to local pizza shops, and there's pizza shops everywhere. That there are.
Yeah.
And I said to them, look, for our students who have reached a certain criteria, they got honor roll, comeback kid, whatever, you pick whatever your criteria is. If they do that, we would like to create a gift certificate, or not a gift certificate, but a coupon, so to speak, from your establishment for the family. And I had about 5. I had about 5 different pizza shops that says, yeah, we'll do it. So we created a certain one. It had to have a certain stamp on it. So that's what you do. You go get yourself a little stamp. That way you know that it's official. So people haven't just copied these and made these anywhere, right? Official stamp on it, or a little punch hole or whatever. And we gave them out. Now the entire family is benefiting off of the student getting good grades. The entire family is benefiting off of, and the community is getting it. You go to your little your copy machine, you make a certificate, right? A colored certificate. This business is supporting our top tier students, or our great, awesome students, and they can put that into their window. So now it's showcasing who they are. They're getting benefits from the family. The students are doing the best that they can. They have that great connection. There you go, right? And I'd like to get those mom pop type of places, those people that are right in the community that say, hey, if you come here, you show you got the good grades, we give you, 5% off of your pizzas or whatever like that. And I stuck with the pizza place because everybody loves a good pizza on Friday, right?
Yeah.
And that's the way you have that kind of community connection.
My favorite part of that idea is that it's so multifaceted of the different things that you're going on. You're layering in a sense like family engagement, community engagement, along with, motivating students to kind of put their best effort forward. It made me think of as a slight bonus from me, an idea that I saw fairly recently, is back around Halloween. I was passing a local high school, and they have their high schoolers, their juniors and seniors, do trunk or treat for the middle and elementary schools that feed into their high school. And I had never seen that. I said, that's great. They're getting, it's not full community, but it's the community that feeds into their school. They're getting students recognized with with the high school and giving something for the high school students to give back to their community too.
Yeah, absolutely. And I was working with, where was this school? It was up in New England area, where the public school district was having some concerns because people were leaving the public school district and going to private schools. Now, please get me wrong. I love private schools. I have no problem. Get education wherever you can get it.
Sure. Yeah.
But they hired me to help consult with them about their culture and climate and try to keep people into their district. Well, I says, you need to make sure that the elementary kids can see themselves as high schoolers. How often are the high schoolers interacting with the elementary school? Do the trunk or treats. Have the high school kids come and serve lunch to the elementary and the middle school kids. Have them have that connection and interaction so the elementary kids are like, oh, one day I want to
do that same thing.
Thing. I want to make those connections. You got to have that positive feelings. What high school clubs and groups do you have? Your the 4-H, is it, or your interact clubs, or your student government, or your spirit clubs? Get them going to make those connections a little bit lower. Yeah, that can happen, definitely.
Yeah, and I think all that just speaks into your climate and culture, right? Your climate of how you feel. Well, I feel really seen that the high schoolers are doing this, and eventually that turns into a tradition,
and that's the culture. That's exactly it. Yeah.
Okay, let's round this second part off with idea number 5. We'll give them 5. It's a good number. I like 5. What's your fifth idea?
All right, this is going to staff. All right, because sometimes we don't do the staff, and I'm going to go with some support staff. Specifically, your paraprofessionals and your custodial staff. So these are 2 ideas in one, all right? Custodial
Way
staff.
to sneak it in there.
Yes, I'm sliding into for one, all right? Your custodial staff, all right, whether you have them from an outside vendor or they're actually a part of your school or district. What I did is I got certificate paper, regular little certificate paper. On the certificate paper, we printed, this hallway is professionally maintained by, and then the name of the custodian. You go to the dollar store, you get some dollar store frame, you put some Velcro on it, stick it on the wall wherever they're in charge of that hallway for cleaning. It's just a quick little recognition of the custodial staff saying, hey, they've professionally maintained this hallway. Notice I didn't say clean. I say they professionally maintain it.
Yeah.
And I do Velcro because sometimes custodians, they move hallways. This way you can zoop off and stick it wherever else you need to be. For the paraprofessionals, what I did is there were some lockers in the teacher's room, some of those half lockers, whatever like that.
Sure. Yeah.
And if you don't have them in your teacher's room, pick a locker set in the hallway if you have them, or somewhere that you can lock something. And in that, you give one of your paraprofessionals the combination or the key or whatever it is, one that you trust, and you stack it full of supplies. Post-it notes, pencils, pens, rulers, erasers, all that stuff, because these paraprofessionals are providing assistance to their students, assistance to the teachers, and they have to always walk around and beg for stuff to use. I stack it up twice a year. I says, look, beginning of the year, I'm going to fill this with supplies. Halfway through the year, fill it with supplies. And it was just theirs.
It's just for them.
It's just for them. You talk to Trudy. Trudy has the key. You check with Trudy. She'll set up the time, and she's the one who's going to let it all out. If you come to me before halfway through the year and ask for more stuff, the answer is no. Work it out. All right? Halfway through the year, I restock it up again. Again, it makes them feel valued. It makes them feel like, hey, I'm equipped to do my job.
Yeah. I think both of those positions get overlooked sometimes as their importance in the climate and culture of a school. And so, giving them some space again to be seen. It seems most of these ideas kind of come back to being seen.
Being seen. Yes.
That's if I was listening to this podcast, I'd say, the number one thing I kind of heard is, being seen and figuring out how to do that.
Right.
From top down, all the way, administrators, staff, support staff, custodial, cafeteria, educators,
students,
like teachers,
everybody.
Students. Parents on some
parents,
level,
even community,
parents and guardians,
they're getting
in the community on some level.
Pizza at a discount if they're in their home.
Yeah.
So we've really hit every level. Find a way to let them be seen. And here's the thing: if you've done any of these things, put it in your calendar. Do it again. 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 The power is in the repetition. The repetition creates tradition. The tradition is culture. Positive culture produces good feelings, great climate.
Look at that. That's such a great wrap up. You kind of landed that plane fantastically for us.
We appreciate
because we're coming to the end of our time here, and I loved this episode. I love just talking with you and getting ideas and things. I love ideas. And so to kind of wrap everything up, you said it beautifully, so I'll leave it there. I won't even try and do it myself. Just go back and listen to that again if you want to. But I think we're going to go ahead and wrap this episode up.
Sounds good.
Unless is there anything else you want to say there, Steve?
Hey, man, I had a great time with this. Again, guys, just take a little bit of time. All the things that I'm talking about, it's not a whole lot of effort. Just do a little bit with it. I love working with you guys. Love doing the keynoting and the speaking innovative school summits. I love going out to schools and helping educators everywhere think a little different, work on their culture and climate, leadership development, and idea development.
Absolutely. All right. Thanks, Steve. And thank you, all you listeners, for joining us on this episode. If there's something that you learned here, and I'm sure you did, we would love for you to share it with your colleagues or anyone else you know in the education space. We're not doing this podcast just to kind of be famous or anything. We just want to help as many educators as possible. And I know Steve does too. He's on board with that mission. So we'd love it if you subscribed, if you shared this episode, and everything like that. We thank you for everything that you do as educators. Small little plug. Those are just a few ideas from Steve. He does have a book. It's literally called Ideas, Ideas, Ideas. Go check it out. I think he has a couple other ones. I'm sure if you look up his name, you'll find it, and we'll link them in the description below. But thank you, everyone, for joining us, and we will see you next season. This is the last episode of this season, so be on the lookout sometime in January for season 3. All right, everybody. We'll see you later.